Eye on South Asia is brought to you by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, together we'll go far.
Hello and welcome to Eye on South Asia. I'm Bhavna Vanan.
And I'm Sanjeev Pandya.
Every week we'll discuss the latest headlines, news, and events with the South Asian community. Sanjeev, let's start off with some political news here. U.S. elections. Okay, so Indian Americans,
right.
Here's the headline: Indian Americans open wallets for Obama, little for Romney.
That's right, not so much for Romney,
Yes.
but really a big time for Barack Obama.
Yeah, the Indian American community, although they haven't been donating as much to the Obama campaign as they did in 2008
Right.
elections, they have been contributing significantly more to the Democratic side than the Republican side.
Right.
And despite the RNC recruiting all these Indian Americans into their convention, starting with the two governors, Nikki Haley and Bobby Jindal, at the convention they both made speeches.
And also a young gun from California.
Yes, they
a really
had
young
several
kid.
Indian
Right.
Americans, like a record number.
True.
And despite all of those people being represented, still they're not able to garner up enough financial support in terms of fundraising.
Well, you know, Indians tend to lean towards Democrats. So obviously, it's no surprising that Indian Americans are opening their wallets, meaning, you know, contributing more for Democratic Party or for Barack Obama and Joe Biden's second term. But on the other side, Dr. Akshay Desai, who's a Republican and who's been part of Bush administration, I think he has raised over $1 million for Romney and Ryan. And also a couple of weeks ago, if you remember, Bhavna, we talked about another doctor, I think in Mississippi, also raised like almost $1 million in a state like Mississippi, for Romney and Ryan also.
Right.
But there are a number of donors, I think, donating money into Democratic Party, Indian Americans, right? From anywhere from $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 to $20,000, $100,000. And that list is very, very long. That's what the article says more about. The Indian Americans are rooting for Obama's second term versus, Romney's first term as a president.
Right. And it's interesting to note that Mr. Desai, he is very optimistic about the fundraising for Romney. He says that they're going to beat fundraising for Obama, which Obama has a goal of $1 billion this time. Do you think he's actually going to reach this?
Well, I don't know if he's going to reach that $1 billion, but I know just 2 days ago there was a report that for the month of August, Obama raised $144 million versus Romney's $142 million. So
okay.
Romney
It's
is
very
actually
close.
running neck to neck with Obama.
Yeah.
And the interesting part of the story is that none of Obama's supporters in 2008 elections figure in the list this time.
The top fundraisers.
The top fundraisers. I don't know whether they're going to be in the list or other Indian Americans have taken over them in this year's election. I don't know, but it's surprising that those guys are not there.
And also, like you mentioned, the top people for Obama didn't appear on the list this time. Also, the top people for Hillary Clinton didn't appear on the top fundraising list either. So that's very interesting.
2 more months to go, and I guess in a couple of weeks we'll give you an update on what's going on with.
Yes, and also something to note is that it's not all about the money; it's the votes that count.
Exactly.
So.
That's a good point, right?
Yeah. All right. So what's our next story that we have?
Republicans term India a key partner of U.S. I think Republicans now have recognized, or now they're coming out with the statement that India is a key partner of U.S. in many other policies. So that is a very strong statement coming out from Republicans, and acknowledging India's presence in the market, of course, largest democracy in the world, and now India having so much on their on their financial and investment part that U.S. is attracting into investing in India. So that's a good news.
Yeah, they're really welcoming them as a geopolitical ally, and they're advocating a stronger relationship as well. So, like you said, they're encouraging more trade and they're also pushing for these
Greater
issues like
foreign investment and
greater
everything.
foreign investment.
Yep.
And because the Republican Party is traditionally all about business. So, they really want to highlight that aspect of this relationship with
And
US
should
and India.
Romney is elected, okay, I think maybe we're going to see some kind of better ties, stronger ties between U.S. and India in terms of business trade.
Economic
Yeah.
wise, yes. And speaking of businesses, we have several Indian firms on the Forbes Most Innovative list.
Right.
So Forbes magazine has this list of 100 most innovative companies in the world, and of course the US businesses have dominated the top 5,
Right.
but we have 5 Indian companies, so L&T, Hindustan Unilever, Infosys, Tata Consultancy, and Sun Pharma have all made the
L&T
list.
is Larsen Toubro, which
Yes.
is one of the finest firms, and it has made it to the list. Engineering giant is ranked among the top 10 companies ahead of Google and Starbucks, and L&T is ranked 9th in the list. So that's
very impressive. Ahead
absolutely.
of Google and Starbucks,
Yep,
the big
yep.
names that we know.
And this
here.
is the most innovative companies.
Yes.
We're not talking the top companies of the world. These are the most innovative companies, and that's where these 5 companies are there: Larsen & Toubro, Hindustan Lever, Infosys, Tata Consultancy, and Sun Pharma.
Yes.
And to be in this list, Forbes magazine said that at least 7 years of financial data was reviewed, and besides, the firms with market value greater than $10 billion was required. Only then they would qualify
To be in the list.
to be in the list.
Yeah.
And then based upon the company's performance, past history and everything, they would be ranked. So, Larsen & Toubro really all the way up in the list. So that's top 10, one of the top 10 companies.
Yes, that's great news. All right, so our next story we have is regarding the World Bank.
That is also great news.
Yes, great news. Here we have an Indian representative coming into the picture. So a chief economist, the new chief economist, has been appointed, and his name is Kaushik Basu, and he was the economic advisor to the Indian government.
Right.
And
Till recently.
And
Right.
now he's replacing the current, who is Justin Lin of China. Well, he retired on
Right. So
in
Kaushik
June.
Basu now has been appointed as a World Bank's chief economist and a senior vice president.
Yes. And they're really looking to him for several ideas just coming from a developing country, and also they're looking for evidence-based solutions. So what that is coming from a developing country is that India's seen a lot of growth recently. So if this World Bank is able to apply these ideas in this current climate to grow the whole world's economy.
Well, Kaushik Basu's appointment adds a greater value to this economist panel, because Kaushik Basu himself is a PhD from London School of Economics, also widely a published writer, and was awarded Padma Bhushan in 2008. Kaushik Basu will begin his term as of October 1st, but his experience and the knowledge in the foreign policy, in investment, and worldwide, I think, knowledge of countries' economics. Like recently he made comments about Euro and Europe, that what's going to happen in 2014, because in 2014 there is going to be some changes in the euro, because countries who borrowed money from European Central Bank will have to return. We're talking $1 trillion they will have to return in 2014. Should they fail to return, some of the country is going to collapse. So he made that comment, and that's a very alarming comment, from the business perspective.
Right.
So Kaushik Basu's appointment as chief economist and a senior VP for World Bank, I think, is going to bring a lot of value and a lot of knowledge and expertise to the World Bank.
Right. He does have a clear foresight,
Yes.
and that's very necessary when it comes to these economic and financial decisions in this climate.
Right.
So
He also founded the Center for Development Economics at the Delhi School of Economics in 1992, and is founding member of the Madras School of Economics.
So congratulations to Mr. Kaushik
Kaushik
Basu.
Basu.
That's great news.
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about a new U.S. visa system that's going to be in place, and this is going to be in U.S. embassies in countries like in India.
Right.
So the U.S. Embassy is aiming at standardizing the rules and simplifying the fee and application process.
True.
So applicants will be able to access their data and apply online, pay all their fees
And
online.
schedule their appointments.
Schedule their appointments.
Right.
And this change is going to be happening September 26th.
Correct.
So there are a couple of, I guess, delays, potential delays that people see.
A lot of delays, right.
Yes. So the first is that they're going to have to make 2 appointments. And the first appointment will be to an off-site facilitation center where they're taking their fingerprints and such. And then the second one is where they actually have the visa interview.
Right. And the visa applications also will be able to have their question answered via telephone, email, or online chat, which is totally unheard of.
Yeah.
Because so far there has been no number that you can call in. No one can answer your question. The emails that you sent in, they never replied because you're not supposed to send an email with questioning because nobody will reply. So now
Right.
having this, things added into this new system should definitely help.
Right. And especially those people who don't need to come into the office to get a visa or an interview, I'm sorry. Those people who just need fingerprints, they're not going to experience as much delay as people who do need to go through the 2 appointments.
Well, we don't know if there is going to be a delay or higher cost. It's a question mark. Will the new visa system lead to delays or higher cost? So we'll see what that happens. But adding new features should definitely help.
And as you said, if they do have a hotline for people to ask questions, they're going to need extra staff for that. So that is an area of higher cost there.
All right. And we're going to need to take a break.
Yes, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back on Eye on South Asia.
Eye on South Asia is brought to you by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, together we'll go far.